still looking, honey. You can talk into it.
Did my dad disappear? Okay. Well, I'm going to need some help because we have a slideshow where I'm going to just share a story, and since this is story time, and I have some visual aids to go with the story, so I'm going to just set up the slideshow, and maybe you could just press next. Alright, so the story I'm sharing is my trip to Duluth on October 3rd of this year. I don't know if you guys know, but Luke is from Duluth, and so when we were going, he got very, very excited about everything that we were doing, and so this is us at the airport, well, my parents, and you can press the next button. Next slide. Oh. So we got to Duluth, we saw the sights, and next. And so I went there to visit my uncle and aunt who are on the right of that picture. My parents are on the left. Luke was raving about this old Indian fort that he saw a lot when he was a child, and so we decided on our last day we wanted to go and try and see it. He gave us 3 clues. One, it's by the Snow White Grocery on Oxford and Woodland Avenue, near where he grew up. Second clue was that it overlooked Lake Superior, and third clue is that it was in the shape of a circle. So we just decided that we'd go and look around that area. We went to, we found the Snow White Grocery, but next. But it wasn't the Snow White Grocery anymore. Next. It was a casket shop. Had turned into a casket shop over the years. That's a little disappointing, but in essence, we had found the starting location, so this was our point of reference for all of our adventures. Hartley Park was this huge park beyond the neighborhood where this was located, so we started there. We got a map, we went searching, and we went up a hill, we kept searching, and we found this really big rock formation coming out of the ground. It was really kind of cool because there was this huge forest, and there's fall colors, and it's really beautiful, and it's right in the middle of the city, but you wouldn't know that it was right in the middle of the city. There's a great view, even including Lake Superior, although it seemed a little far away. So here we are kind of looking for this next part that's supposed to be looking in the shape of a circle. And, hey, Dad, come help. So you can go to the next one. And the next one, just lovely scenery. So this is the circle that my dad made out of rocks because we didn't quite find the circle that we were looking for.
This is a circle of rocks made of Indian fort.
Okay, so we pretended we found it, but we gave in. We knew we still had to keep looking, so the next part beyond that is we're just walking on the trail. The men take the lead this time. They've got their map. They've got a little bit more ambition to go ask people along along the trail.
We found out much later that all of Duluth burned down in 1918. And Luke was there in about 1960 or so. The forest hadn't come up enough, right? When we were there, it had already grown. And so where Indian Fort was could have been anywhere.
Really anywhere. So we're back on the trail. A man pointed us in a new direction, and we ran across some... Oh, there's a couple, actually. So we're going through the forest, and the next slide shows what we found. Some Indian forts, but they're really just circles made out of sticks in the middle of the forest, and it didn't cover the second clue, which was overlooking Lake Superior. So you can go through the next couple ones. Or
You have to forgive my adolescence at this point. I just had to crawl into it.
So we took pictures, everything's well documented. And then we found another man on the trail who seemed to really know what we were talking about. That trail led out of Hartley Park, and we happened upon a cul-de-sac. We recognized it was the street above the Snow White Grocery, so we're like, yes, we are close. It satisfies clue number 1. So we saw from there's just one trail, and it's headed up. So we continue going up.
Up in Duluth is about 600, maybe 700 feet. Not quite around here.
But this was a very steep hill, so we're trekking at this point. And next one. And so we saw some really beautiful trees. The light at this point in the day was just magical, which really set the stage for things to come. So we kept walking. We went along a trail to the right and kept going. And it led us down a hill, so we turned around and kept going. Okay, yeah. And let's see here. So, let's see. Yeah, then the next. Yeah. So this is the first kind of overlooking that we found.
I have to say that Duluth has 1 week in a whole year when it's beautiful like this. This is a gorgeous week. Perfect weather to discover Indian Fort.
And from this view, since my uncle's from Duluth, he recognized that it was by the next slide. Technically in there somewhere you can see the cemetery that we're next to, hence the casket shop. It's in the neighborhood. But the next thing that we ran across was this nice little dip in a tree branch, and I thought that was really magical because the light was really magical. And so I sat on it, and then you can go through the next couple ones. Yeah, we just kept taking pictures and really enjoyed it and took our rest. And then we got a whole family, okay, stop. Then we got a whole family picture. And then with this kind of peaceful mentality, we kept going and stumbled upon our site. Yay! So here we have clue number 1 by Snow White Grocery, yes. Clue number 2, overlooking Lake Superior, yes. And clue number 3 is a circular formation of rock, which is there on the left, and in the middle there seems to be, yeah, like a...
That's it.
Yeah.
That's Indian Fort. Do you remember that, Luke? Huh? No?
What does it look like now to you? Seeing it.
The stones are a little more worn.
No, they're a little more. Okay.
How many layers of rock did it have when you were there?
Just maybe one is about this high.
Oh, wow, nice. Yeah. So still there, still with like a little campfire spot in the middle. And so it was at this point that I called Luke to let him know that we arrived. And so he requested, and that's the view of Lake Superior, really fantastic. And the next one is he requested this picture of my dad and me in the fort. So that is for you on your birthday. And we really enjoyed our find. we had fun with this place, took funny pictures, and so yeah. It overlooks some baseball fields you see down there, so the next slide is from below and looking up, and you can hardly imagine that anything would be there, but there it is. And one extra little snippet to this story is we went back to the Snow White grocery because the other thing that Luke told us about was his home where he grew up as a child. And it was on 308 East Oxford Street. We went back to Snow White grocery, which now is the same place as before, and we went down Oxford Street and we got to the place where 308 should have been, but there were just trees there, and we kept driving a little bit more, and more trees, so we decided to turn around.
There happened to be a west as well as an east.
We figured that out at that point, so the last slide here is, I hope, the right place. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
That's your house now.
Yeah. The only difference is the front porch is enclosed now.
That's so good.
50-foot wide lot.
Yeah.
50 by
Yeah.
100 feet.
50 by 100 feet. It was, holy cow. You know, out here, that's a pretty small lot. But the 100 feet was good. We have a nice backyard.
So we left Duluth in 1956. I think it was October. 30 years to the day after we left, I go back to visit a friend of mine whom I had grown up with, and her husband and family. And while I'm there in Duluth, of course I had to go back and take a look at Snow White Grocery in Hunters Park. And see, I grew up building canoes with the Indians, and you can tell from the scenery there, if you roll it back 50 years, 55 years, it was much wilder even then than it looks now. But anyway, after taking the shortcut